So it looks like Charlie Kirk, I guess they're going to try to pretend he is the white Jesus because this son gun is about to resurrect and haunt this entire country. Well, at least the great state of Texas. Because Governor Greg Abbott, I used to give Greg Abbott a lot of praise for the things that he has done over the past few years to help the citizens of Texas. This dude is showing his true colors because he is going to allow this Turning Point USA youth chapter, not allow, he's going to mandate that Turning Point USA have youth chapters in every high school in Texas. Now, how is this possible? Because as we know, Turning Point USA is a conservative political group. We can just say Republican oriented, although they don't want to say. See, you got to watch these words, everybody. We can't fall prey to these words that are being used in the media by them folk and how they turn it, flip it to make it mean one thing, but you know what it actually means, but they'll try to make it seem like that's not it. So they use words like conservative and liberal instead of Republican and Democrat because Republican Party and the Democrat Party are legitimate, political parties. But if you say conservative, then you can say, well, yes, there's some Democrats who are conservative. Or if you say liberal, you can say, well, I'm sure there's some Republicans that are liberal. You see what I'm saying? So they'll use those words, but you know doggone well what it means and what they're trying to, the message that they really are trying to convey. So you're going to get this, I'm just going to say it, this group that's for them folk, by them folk, of them folk, that's pretty much going to try to put down everybody else. But before I get too deep into my conversation, I can ramble for on and on. We want to allow a few of these news clips to play that's going to pretty much explain it. Because if you try to go with one news story, one news channel, you won't get enough of the details. So we're going to play like a few of these clips so you can get an understanding of what's about to happen in this great state of Texas. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott revealed Turning Point USA chapters will be in every high school across the state. This comes after we reported TEA Commissioner Mike Morath was in talks with Turning Point officials about the expansion project. Today, Governor Abbott called the project urgent and necessary to restore the founding values on campuses across Texas.
Texas is taking the lead in expanding what Charlie Kirk did right here in Texas.
Hold on. She said, you heard what she said. And shout out to the sister. I like when they put, sisters and brothers on stories like this, kind of, put a little pop to it, give it a little edge to it. You can kind of look in her facial expression that she ain't really feeling this. You understand what I'm saying? Those who know. Those who know. But he said the values, restoring the value of the founders of all the schools in Texas. I wasn't going to show this right now, but when she said that, it kind of hit me. I'm going to go to the Wall Street Journal. And I told y'all, get y'all a subscription to Wall Street Journal, your local newspaper, and maybe like a Reuters or something, Reuters newspaper website, news site. So you can get a broad picture of what's really going on in the world. Because if not, all you worry about is Jasmine Crockett, running for what's she running for, Senate or what have you. But all she do is talk about Donald Trump and how bad he is, but they ain't really talking about what she's gonna do to help our people. This here would be a great political point that she can address and may get on top of. I'm not sure if she can do anything about it, but she can try to do something to try to get the message out that this is not the way to go. But I don't know. She got to stop talking about Donald Trump so doggone much. But anyway, like I say, going to the Wall Street Journal, and you can see, you're going to see here, it's going to see a lot of ads and stuff, but don't worry about that. let's stick to the point. This is from this is the Wall Street Journal. It says the curriculum flow chart that has Texas professors up in arms. Now check out the subtitle. New restrictions on teaching about race and gender are unsettling faculty. Conservatives say the moves are overdue. Another reason why you got to pay attention to what people say and how they describe things, define things. Because this says race and gender. There is no reason why the two should be in the same sentence, especially coming from Black America. Because Black America have been through things that we can continue to go through things that we can't control because it's based on the color of our skin. The country has been founded on things like that. I mean, hell, so let's start with racism, not racism, slavery, and continue to go on with the Jim Crow, redlining, so forth and so on. Y'all understand what I'm talking about. We ain't got to sit there and debate with silly people if that's relevant or not. You understand what I'm saying? But when you talk about gender, now you're really talking about most likely the LMNOP community. Most likely. And see, that's where the problem is I have with a lot of Black politicians and so-called leaders who try to say all minorities, all people of color, all genders, all people with certain sexual orientation. You can't do that because now when you lump everything together, now when something comes up and it harms them, now they want to bring us into it. But then if it's something that harms us, nobody's there, they got our back. So this thing here talking about race and gender, that's basically what it's doing. Now I say, oh, Black people is bad, but it's all, I mean, it's no LMNOP community is getting discriminated against and we're getting it out of school, but also talking bad about Black people too, or women's rights and this and the third, things that women have done and not done and stuff like that, taking all that stuff out of there. I'm sorry. I understand your plight. You know what I'm saying? It's diabolical. Feel for you. So sad for you. But at this day and age, we got to keep things separate. We have to, because everybody else, no matter what they tell you, they are doing for their people. LMNOP, bottom line, they're going to do for them people. Hispanics, bottom line, they got their own Hispanic organizations. LMNOP got their own organizations. Asian got their own organizations. We that fight for their people first, and then everybody else can get the crumbs. For some reason, we have organizations, but we fight for everybody. And then somehow we get the crumbs. Not understanding that. So my thing is, we not saying you're going to hate another group, don't want the other group to succeed, but even the scriptures say, you conservative people, that you take care of home first. And then you can take care of other people, because everybody else is taking care of home. But yet we take care of other people first and not take care of home. And that's why a lot of us don't have a lot of wealth. A lot of us are in poverty because, I mean, if you take it on like a personal level, at home level, we like to take care of people who ain't got nothing in our family, and we got a little bit. So then the people that ain't got nothing come to us and need something, ask for something, and we give. And next thing you know, we ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing because they didn't use it for nothing. And so now we all don't have anything. And we have nothing to pass on to the next generation. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Scriptures tell you that, to leave something for your kids. You see what I'm saying? So, anywho, it's time that we start making sure that we are taken care of. We make sure our business is taken care of and go from there. But this whole like race and gender, like I say, some things has got to be separated. But what I want to do real quick, I want to try to go down, see if y'all can see this. Like I said, this is the blueprint, I guess, the plan, the chart. And what does this say? Text. I'm not sure if you can see this because it's kind of small, but it says first question that I asked with the curriculum. Does facility member believe course material is relevant and necessary for the classroom instruction? Let's say you say, yeah, that's what, this is what the class is for. African American studies, Hebrew Israelite studies, biblical studies. You know what I'm saying? Black invention studies. Yes. Is the course material required for professional licensure, certification, or patient client care? That's where you're going to get a lot of classes dropped off. In nursing, it could be an elective. I wonder if these would be considered like constituted as an elective, because I don't remember. I do remember religious studies being an elective when I first, like a prereq or an elective when I first got into the nursing program years ago. So I studied like world religion, stuff like that. But I don't remember seeing anything about Black studies, African American studies, African studies, Caribbean studies, anything like that, Black history. I don't remember seeing it on there. If it's on there, y'all let me know. But if that's the case, you get these conservative, not necessarily professors, but these faculty members, the people, the president, and people that dictate what classes or courses are going to be at that school are required for a degree plan. They may just say, no, it's not required. It's not part of the elective group to get a nursing degree. And so it's going to go to no. And that pretty much, and it said, does faculty member request review a specific course material to potentially remain in course? They could easily say no because you already, it's already like at the no from the jump. Does provost believe material needs to remain? And like I say, depends on who you got on your squad. Cause a lot of these colleges, they want that what you call that Turning Point USA in their school. But if they got it in there, they're gonna say no, and then that's just it. And there went your African American studies, your LMNOP studies, and your Hispanic and anybody else studies. But again, we're just focusing on our people right now. So understand that the core values of when the schools were started. But let's continue.
What is heartwarming for me about the future of our state is the fact that Texas ranks #1 in America for the most high school Club America TPUSA programs of any state in the United States of America.
Abbott also said that anyone who rejects the chapters will be disciplined by the TEA.
Look at that group.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. I want to start out by thanking Josh with TPS USA.
Can't really hear that. But hold on.
For his leadership and everything that.
Before he gets to really talking, because can't really hear it. Look at that group here. Look at them people behind Greg Abbott and sitting next to him. I think this dude wasn't he a guy that was on a plane doing chapter these chapter conferences or whatever. He was like on a private plane, and people were saying that he wanted to be the next Charlie Kirk, but he didn't get the approval from everybody. Ain't that the same guy? I don't know. And who is that? That's the lieutenant governor. What's the lieutenant? Not Rick Perry. What's his name? I don't know. Hell, I can't remember his name. I was thinking Rick Perry. Well, Rick Perry used to be the governor back before Greg Abbott. But anyway,
for being here and thank him for his leadership and everything that he has helped to accomplish across the country as well as here in the state of Texas. All of the Club America.
Look at that. Look what you see there. Tell me what you don't see. Let's start there. Who don't you see back here? You understand me? But let's keep going.
High school clubs and chapters, many of whom going on our high school campuses is.
It's always one.
Now there's from across the country to everybody from outside of the great state of Texas. Welcome to the Texas Governor's Mansion. Also, I do want to share a word that I also told Erica about that I will double down at this time. And that is, as TPUSA, as Club America seeks to expand chapters in schools across the state, let me be clear. Any school that stands in the way of a Club America program in their school should be reported immediately to the Texas Education Agency, where I expect meaningful disciplinary action to be taken place for any stoppage of TPUSA in the great state of Texas.
Well, Governor Greg Abbott is trying to set up chapters of Turning Point USA inside of all Texas high schools. Abbott made the announcement that the state is partnering with Turning Point USA, which is a conservative student group on college campuses. Well, Charlie Kirk, who a lot of people may remember was assassinated earlier this year, was the previous national president.
Let me be clear. Any school that stands in the way of a Club America program in their school should be reported immediately to the Texas Education Agency, where I expect meaningful disciplinary action to be taken place for any stoppage of TPUSA in the great state of Texas.
So although Abbott made the announcement, he didn't exactly share how he would require schools to open chapters. However, he said there would be consequences.
Texas high school students will soon have another organization to consider joining. Yesterday, Governor Abbott announced chapters of Turning Point USA will be established in every high school across the state. TEA Commissioner Mike Morath had been in talks with Turning Point officials about the expansion project. Turning Point USA was founded by Charlie Kirk and is traditionally operated on college campuses. Mr. Abbott says any school that rejects the chapters will be disciplined by the TEA.
Texas is taking the lead in expanding what Charlie Kirk did right here in Texas. What is heartwarming for me about the future of our state is the fact that Texas ranks #1 in America for the most high school Club America TPUSA programs of any state in the United States of America.
That plan is already causing a little controversy. Critics say they're concerned about political influence in public education and the implications of promoting a partisan organization in schools.
Let's talk about that, y'all. You know, I had to look up Turning Point USA. I had to chat GPT it because I need to know just a little more information about it, right? Because I wanted to see what exactly is this. So I went to chat GPT. Let's go there. And I asked, explain what Turning Point USA is. And it says right off the bat, a conservative nonprofit organization in the United States. Now, you know, I'm critical of the Black church, but one thing the Black church is, it's a nonprofit, and it's leaning more towards, unfortunately, now the liberal side of things, not necessarily conservative. They talking Democrat. Let's just be Democrat, okay? I don't see. Even now, they try to put the 10 Commandments in these schools, but whatever. I don't see any Black church leaders trying to get Southern Baptist, AME type curriculums in these high schools because it's nonprofit and it's, you might say it's religious, but shoot, they trying to put religion in high school, like I say with the 10 Commandments. So what would be the difference? What would be the difference? I'm ready to hear these Black leaders come out and talk against this. Like, I need y'all to get on it. Y'all been on these politicians about the migrants so much. I'm talking about my people, about the migrants so much. Like I say, even till this day, Jasmine Crockett, Al Green, they still talk about them migrants and stuff and how the Republicans just did them bad. I need to see y'all talk about doing things for us at the top of your agenda. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you want that vote, because still don't have to vote for y'all, but we don't have to vote for nobody. We just sit on the couch because nobody's offering. That's basically what it has come to now. It's about tangibles. Give us something, You know what I'm saying? For our vote. You want me to vote for you? Give us something. Not a promise, not a dream, not a reparations committee to look at it. No. Give us something, put it on the table, put it on the books. You got our vote. Period. Point blank. Let me continue. It says it's founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, which is what, 13 years ago, when he was 18 years old. Okay, its stated mission is to promote free markets, limited government, and conservative values, especially among young people. And that's crazy. Limited government, but you got governments trying to promote it. Where does that tells you something ain't right? You promoting something that's speaking against what you do. What TPUSA does. Here are the major areas of activity. College and high school outreach. The TPUSA is best known for its network of student chapters on college and high school campuses. It hosts events, training, and activism campaigns aimed at promoting conservative ideology and opposing what it describes as left-leaning bias in education. Left-leaning means Democrat. Remember that. Political messaging and media. TPUSA produces videos, social media content, and commentary on current events through the website, social platforms, shows hosted by Charlie Kirk and other influencers. It has a significant online presence and invests heavily in digital content. I think Charlie Kirk had like what 3.5 million followers online. So it has a nice little audience. I say it hosts large conferences like the American Fest, America Fest, Student Action Summit. These events often feature high-profile Republican politicians and commentators. How can you the courts are going to have to get involved in this? Like seriously, I don't think this is going to fly, or it shouldn't fly. I don't think it should. Issue-based activism. So they advocate for free speech on campus, limited government policies, pro-capitalism messaging, opposition to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. You know, I'm not a big fan of DEI because Black people weren't the one that really benefited from that. Like they tell you, it was like single white women that benefited from it the most. More conservative political engagement amongst youth. They show you that related organizations, controversies. It says it is politically polarizing organization. Criticisms have included claims of spreading partisan misinformation, accusations, because there've been some cats that Charlie Kirk tried to talk to, and they'd be brothers and sisters just shoot him down, and he had no answer for it, and he'll just kind of flip the narrative and try to act like he's still on top of the debate, and he was just losing like it wasn't nothing. Accusations of targeting educators or students with opposing views. Goes back to the Wall Street Journal article I just told y'all to look at. I'm gonna put a link in the description, so when you click on it, and if it says you can't open it, that means you need to go and subscribe. And it like when you like a first time subscriber, you can give like $1 a month for a couple of months. Just read it for a little while. If you don't like it, cancel it. Simple as that. Reports of internal issues such as management problems or racial bias complaints with some chapters. Supporters view TPSA as pushing back against what they consider progressive or woke tilt in education and culture. See, words again. Black folks, when we use the word woke, we know what woke meant. Woke was, well, we know what woke meant, right? Woke is looking at the system. Stop, getting out of the matrix. Understand that things are not for the betterment of Black America. So we woke now. So now we know that we gotta do for ourselves. That's what woke meant to us. But somehow they took it and changed it to make it mean something else, make it mean something negative. And it's not nothing negative. It's just woke saying that we're gonna do more for us so we can get our people up where they need to be. That's all woke was for us. But hey, like I say, they took the word and flipped it. So let's see. I asked if we could show like some of the major controversies, investigations, or criticisms. And it has a list here. I'm not gonna go through that because I want to look at like controversy timeline. We'll look at it through here. So like 2012 to 2014, founding and early criticism. So it's founded by Charlie Kirk. Early critics noted unusually fast funding for a brand new youth nonprofit. That lets you know it was not backed by Charlie Kirk. It was backed by somebody else with a lot of influence and a lot of power. For an 18-year-old, to start an organization and get funding, like millions of dollars of funding off the rip. What does that tell you? And then so it almost like kind of explains like what actually happened to him in the end. That he might have got too big for his britches. He may have went against the grain, you know what I'm saying, did something to go against his followers or the teachings, doing something a little different. And they may not like that. I mean, I know what they put out there in the news, but yeah, this John F. Kennedy. That's all I'm gonna say. In 2013, 2014, they begins aggressive student chapter recruitment. Reports surface of high pressure tactics, chapters inflating membership numbers, early claims of partisan political activity, but despite being a 501c3. And that's the thing. That's one thing about like churches. And what we say about churches, why they should lose their nonprofit status, because there are black churches for sure are leaning to Democrats. Want you to vote for Democrats. They always have Democrats coming into the churches. And that's a no-no when it comes to nonprofits. It's a no-no, but no one is saying something. When they say something, nobody's doing nothing. It's an internal racism complaints and professor watch list. 2015, 2016, multiple former staff claim internal culture tolerated racial jokes and discrimination. I believe it. Some chapter leaders dismissed after screenshots of racist messages leaked. I believe it. Professor watch list. They creates a national list of professors accused of leftist indoctrination. Nationwide backlash includes professors are accused them of doxing them. Several universities condemn the list. New Yorker publishes leaked internal documents showing use of racial slurs by some staff, concerns about internal culture. They fired several employees afterwards. But if you're working somewhere and you're saying things racially insensitive, that means you're comfortable doing it there. That means it's probably been done there. Was that other group that like a few months ago did a video about supposed some like some youth group, supposed youth group, a lot of members like in their 30s and 40s, and they were doing all talk in the text messages show they were doing like all these racial text messages and stuff like that, and like a couple people got fired saying this is not the way we act and we don't condone this and blah blah blah. But again, you have to be real comfortable to do things like that in the area that you're in to think that you can do it and nothing to happen. But then when it gets out, now somebody got to bite the bullet. Somebody got to fall on the sword. Unfortunately, you have to do it. But there are probably some nice parting gifts for you when you leave. 2019 watchdog groups raised concerns about their finances, including rapid revenue growth. Again, by this time he's in his early 20s, mid 20s, heavy spending on events versus educational programming. Okay, social media troll farm scandal in 2020. The Washington Post and Associated Press revealed that Turning Point Actions, the political arm, coordinated a network of paid teenagers posting scripted political comments online. Platforms remove accounts linked to the operation. Critics labeled it a domestic troll farm. Let's see, the election in the 2020 election season. Okay. They were spreading COVID-19 misinformation, sharing misleading election content, posting manipulated statistics. I wonder what kind of COVID-19 information they was putting out, because a lot of that stuff came out now that it might have been true, and they were trying to say it wasn't true. So But check this out: January 6th fallout. Reports showed that Charlie Kirk promoted bus transportation for students to attend the January 6th rally. Although they did not encourage the Capitol breach, universities and media condemned the organization for involvement with the event. And also some of the chapter leaders resigned, citing toxic internal culture and extreme rhetoric. And man, look at here. It's a few more who promote election denialism, anti-vaccine claims, anti-elemental P rhetoric, media watchdogs, increased scrutiny. So my thing is this here: whether this stuff is logical, legit, or whatever, there's a lot of controversy behind this organization, which is the problem. Because any other time if somebody has a lot of controversy behind them, people will separate themselves from them. But not this group. This is something that them folk really wholeheartedly believe in and got and backing them. For what reason? We know what the reason is. And also, let's go back. Remember they said that Charlie Kirk was the white folk Martin Luther King Jr.? So when Martin Luther King Jr. was taken out, tell me, because I wasn't born yet, did them folk or any black people, anybody in this country, started chapters of like Southern Baptist chapters or civil rights chapters in these schools? Did the governors get on TV and say, "Hey, we're going to start civil rights chapters in all colleges and even in high schools, so everybody can understand the importance of civil rights and the contribution that Black Americans made in the creation and building of this country"? Did that happen? If it did, let me know. But I'm just going to go on a limb here and say that no way, shape, or form in hell that happened. I'm just going to say that. That's what I believe. But anyway, that's all. But anyway, back to the story. So everybody, like I say, got the thoughts about this for and against. So let's say you're thinking like me and you're saying, all right, next election, because Greg Abbott already said he's going to run again. Next election, Greg Abbott got to go. Got to go. And if you're trying to think on racial lines, but this is going, actually, it's going to show you whose team them folk on. They're either going to be on Democrat side or they're going to be on them folk side. Because if Greg Abbott runs again for governor and he wins by a landslide against anybody, I don't care who it is, then you know that they are pro this Turning Point USA. But again, let's say, for the sake of argument, that we said we're going to vote Greg Abbott out. My people, I want y'all to see something. These are the breakdown of numbers of the voting eligible voters in the great state of Texas. This is, I think, early 2005, I believe. If you see here, you'll see Texas by the numbers. Voting eligible population. I vote all the time. Hell, I voted a couple weeks ago. I forgot what it was for. What did I vote for? Dig nabbit, I forgot what it was for. But anyway, oh yeah. Some things about school taxes and getting money for people. That's right. Anyway, I forgot. Anyway, I ain't got time to think. 18,875,542 voting eligible population. Breakdown by sex: 48.9% of male, 51.1% female. Breakdown of age: 23.5% of the ages of 18 to 29. Most of them ain't gonna vote, but them conservatives might vote. 26.3%, 30 through 40. Some of them will vote. Not all of them gonna vote. 31.6% between the ages of 45 and 64. Most of them gonna vote. I know when I go to the polls and vote, this is the age range I see the most. These 45, maybe like 40 to 65, 40 to 60s. That's what I'll see. And 18.6%, 65 and older. If they can make it there, they'll get there. If not, can't do mail-in ballots no more. So Trump done mess that one up. So who knows? They can do early voting. They can do early voting. Get wheeled up there and cast their vote. I've seen a lot of older people too. Now break down by race. Here we go. 75.6% white. 13.4% Black or African American. Isn't it weird that everything that has to deal with our population hovers around between 12 and 14%? Why is that? How is that? You're telling me since we've been in this country that we have not grown at all, not even a half a percent or a percentage point in 200 years, 250 years, 400 years, we haven't grown not even a percentage. Are you serious? That's why we can't really trust these numbers. But I'm just reading off what I see. 3.9% Asian. 30. That's probably why you don't see a lot of Asian people voting, because there ain't a bunch of them to vote anyway. 30.9% Hispanic or Latino. How in the world? Well, I guess, yeah, 14, yeah. So 14%. Okay, so 13.4% of the black people vote. Still though, 30.9% of Hispanics can vote, and zero. That can't be right. 'Cause that's no. I read that right the first time. That's not right. That can't be right. Or unless no, you know what it is? Probably Hispanic. They either categorize themselves as white or non-white. So that's probably why they say 30.9%. That's jacked up. 0.6% Native American or Alaskan, 0.1% Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, 2.2% or more races. So you see, in all this, only 13.4% of us are registered to vote. There's no way in the world on racial lines we're gonna get Greg Abbott out of this out of office. No way. No way. Breakdown by education, you see that 3.9% less in high school education, 7.2 some high school, 26.9 high school graduate or equivalent, 25% some college, 7.8% associate's degree. That's me. 19.5% bachelor's degree and 9.6% graduate or professional degree. Amazing. Amazing. So, with that being said, again, on racial lines, you will not be able to get Greg Abbott out of office anytime soon. So what's the solution? Me, I'm glad I ain't got no kids in school now. I'm just glad. I mean, because I sent this to my parents, and they were like, they wouldn't allow us to take this class. So they would opt out of it, this, that, and the third. But my thing is, I said, right, I said, give it time. Because right now it may be like an elective, but give it time. And it will probably be a part of the mandated curriculum to where you have to take it as an elective. Just give it time and folks will show their true colors. But again, with that being said, what's the solution? Homeschool could be one. Uh, Homeschool could be 2, 3, 4, and 5. School vouchers. Getting your kids into private school. Now, but you know what this is, what this entails, or what this demands. This demands that you as parents, you have to be parents. You have to start parenting at home, which means you discipline your children, you teach your kids reading and writing, you stay on top of their homework. You do all this at home first in a controlled environment. So when they get out there in the world, and if they try to act up, they can be reeled back in real easily. But if you don't do this at home and you try to put them in these private schools, and private schools gonna kick them out, because private schools ain't got the same regulations as public schools. They just kick them out. You ain't going to school no more. Now what are you gonna do? Up? Guess we got to go back to public school, right? Uh yeah, because they don't have to keep you. So this is, like I said, this is where the parent to come in, teaching the kids right from wrong, discipline. You know what I'm saying? Getting them reared right, spare the rod, spoil the child, and getting them reared right, so that way when they get to that private school, or even if you homeschooling, you got to get them kids right, or if not, they're gonna mess around and be in these public schools. Because what's crazy is, now I think about it, there are not a lot. The population of them folk in public school has went down a lot, if I do recall. So, which means they're not going to really be teaching their kids this stuff. Maybe they're trying to teach it to them so they can get them back into public school. But as the population goes, they're not going to be teaching a lot of their children this stuff. It's going to be Black and Hispanic kids. Well, let's say Hispanic and Black kids. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. I think I'm gonna have to look on that and think about that one for a minute. But anywho, tell me what y'all think about this story. Like I say, personally, I think, Greg Abbott got to go with some mess like this. Anybody who promote this got to go because it's conservative. You see the controversies. It's racist. It's like I said, politically leaning, and you're gonna put it in public schools. That's not right. But yet you want to take out anything that has to do with African American studies, real studies. Not that, what is that mess they call it? Well, anyway, they try to give us some kind of word to words like fake Black American news, trying to take out the word slavery out of history when it's like damn near 200 years worth of your history, about almost half of your history, even before then, because you got to think about it. Before even we became a country, we were here as slaves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't. No, this thing got to go. It can't. Or there's always the option of moving out of the great state of Texas. Never thought I would say that. Nah, I ain't gonna say that because I just tell my kids when y'all graduate, I'm either moving to the country or out the country, one or the other. So I'm pretty much in the country now, but next step gonna have to be out the country. So we shall see. Got my passport, so it's time to do a little traveling. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below, share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you maybe a couple of minutes out of your day, but it means the world to us here at this channel. And with that being said, I leave you in peace and in love, and I'll see you on the other side.